Hey everyone, I'm Lou,
And I'm Megan,
your host of the Builder Upper Show.
a podcast where we talk about all things in construction and trades. I would like to welcome our guest, Sharron Halpert from Halpert Life Safety Consulting, LLC. Sharon, how are you doing today?
Awesome. It's so great to be here with you. Thanks so much, Megan.
Awesome. That's great to hear. I would love to hear about your story and what inspired you to make a difference in the construction industry.
I started in the construction industry in 1999. I initially started working for Hilti, developing new products and working in marketing. And from there, the bug kind of bit me. And the idea that this little tiny element of Firestop can make such a colossal impact on the level of life safety in a building for the life of the building kind of geeks me out. And I've been doing that in one respect or another since 1999.
That's awesome. I love the excitement that's coming from behind it. You can tell that your heart is in it, and that always makes a difference, especially when you're trying to make a difference. I love that. So I guess you already kind of answered the question too. When you got into construction, it was 1999, or was it prior to that? And you kind of
No.
just no? Okay, awesome.
Before that, I was a vagabond for, I don't know, like 7 years. I literally bounced around the world, and then came to the realization that nobody's going to hire a former boat builder, kindergarten teacher, bartender for a real world job. So I went to graduate school, and I got halfway through graduate school, and the obvious thing became the fact that I'm still just a boat builder, bartender, kindergarten teacher, and now I'm going to have a degree, and I still don't have any real world experience. So I did an internship with Hilti, and that was how I got introduced to the whole realm of construction. It was not at all what I ever expected that I'd be doing. I went to university expecting to be an elementary school teacher.
Right. Okay. That is quite a switch. So what, from that to where you are now, what actually got you into wanting to be an owner in it and or a mentor?
So I've been mentoring in one way or another since I was about 12 years old. Between our community in a rural town in Maine adopted 2 nuclear families of folks from Cambodia, and all of the local churches got together and supported them. And my mom's sister was an ESL teacher, and they decided it would be great if they had a kid teaching kids ESL. And so I got pegged to be that kid. But it was interesting because it put me in a position of leadership at a young age, and it definitely served me well in, the last however many years. So it was kind of interesting there. But switching from working for other people to actually owning a company, back in 2012, the International Building Code changed and mandated the third-party special inspection of Firestop. I thought that is exactly what I want to do. And I was so wrong. Because when you go in as a special inspector, your job is to look at something and either say, you did a good job, or you didn't do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And your hands are really tied. You're not supposed to do any coaching or mentoring or supporting people. And if you run into people that want to do it right, you're still stuck with that role of saying, you did your job well, you didn't do your job well. And your hands are really bound by the standard. You're not allowed to do any coaching. So what I really love doing is education. And right now I'm consulting on a project where I get to support the quality control team. I get to educate the trades and the special inspector, and in some cases, the jurisdictional inspectors. It's just a lot of fun to be able to look at a project and say, not that I did that, but that I, as a small little catalyst, was able to help this army of people build better, not just on this project, but if they choose every single project that they work on from here forward.
No, that's really great. Yeah, I know. I love that. It was a great answer. So then I guess what are some of the challenges that, you're facing as a construction owner today? And better yet, also how, would you overcome it or even help others overcome it?
I think the biggest issue when it comes to construction, whether it's the general contractor, the design team, the trades that are in the field, the biggest challenge is knowledge. And here we are in a environment where all the information that you want is in theory at your fingertips. But
Right.
having the information and applying it in the field are two very different things. I could sit down and I can read the building code, but unless I
Right.
understand the standards that are written into the code, that doesn't really do you a whole lot of good. But if you understand the standards and you understand the code, but you don't know what happens when you've got boots on the ground in the field, then you're missing a big piece of that puzzle. And the building codes change every 3 years, and little
Right.
tiny parts and pieces change. And if you're in this area versus that area, or working to the 2015 code, the 2021, oh no, we're back into the 2008 code over here. So all of those things can be a hindrance. So it's really important that people maintain their level of understanding, not of, I've been doing this for 30 years, which drives me nuts. I hear it every day. And it's not just from the old folks. There's some young people that
Right.
have been in the industry for maybe 10 years and they're like, oh, this is what we always do. Just because it's
Right.
what you always have done doesn't make it right.
Overall, I completely agree with you. I mean, even in something as simple as real estate, right? There is ongoing education. And if you don't, do that, you don't progress in that, there are definitely issues that end up coming along. And the knowledge to application is a very big topic. And there's a huge gap in between that. So you hit that right on spot. How would you encourage contractors to embrace technology and stay ahead in the industry today?
I love this question because when you say technology, people think tech stuff. But in my Firestop world, technology isn't necessarily tech stuff. It's the new Firestop devices. So when I say new, I mean cast in place Firestop devices, which are basically a sleeve that you would put on the concrete formwork before you pour the concrete. Those aren't really new. I mean,
Hmm.
they kind of are as far as construction is concerned, but they're a new way of approaching Firestop. And then after those came about, there's cable devices. So one of the issues when you're running cabling is, especially if it's a busy office or hospital or an occupied space, a school maybe, there's new cables that need to be run on a regular basis. So with the old school methods, you would have a framed out opening and you would have mineral wool and sealant. And then every time you needed to run new cables or do data mining or cable mining to pull out the old cables, now you're going to have a hole, or you've made a hole to run new material. And it's not easy to replace that existing material. It's kind of a pain in the butt.
Right.
So having different types of products that can be re-entered easily is really important to the industry's sort of evolution. And then Firestop devices for fire resistance rated joints, for head of wall to wall, bottom of wall. These things dramatically, all of these devices dramatically help reduce the opportunity for human error. Because if as a human being installing Firestop, I need to have a prescribed depth of mineral wool, and that mineral wool needs to be 4 pound or 6 pound. But on site, we've got 2 pound, we've got 8 pound. Well, that stuff's just laying around and it's convenient. Why can't I just use it? It's that itchy, scratchy stuff. It's the same thing, except again, back to that level of knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge that these are all different products, it's easy to understand why somebody would use that and not know any better. So when we
Hmm.
change and we've got devices, we no longer have to worry about the right depth of mineral wool, the right depth of sealant, the right product as a backer, and it's just a device. People think, oh, it's a device. Now it's idiot proof. And I'll be the first person to tell you that the minute that you think something is idiot proof, the world will give you a better idiot. So there's little things that you still have to check to make sure that those devices are installed properly. So if you decide to go that path as a builder, make sure that you know what those little tricks of the trade are.
That's a great answer. I think I'd have to agree with you too. Again, especially because I make the joke all the time with things that are supposed to be childproof, and the adult can't get it open, but the child's gotten it open at least 5 times. So I never could put the two together, but it is something that I face on a regular basis as a parent. So, with that being said, what is something that you know today that you wish you knew when you started?
I think that the answer for me is summed up in my favorite Maya Angelou quote, which is, you do the best you can until you know better, and then you do better. So I do a lot of education across the country and as far away as Saudi Arabia. And from time to time, I do a class and I get a great group of people and they take their job seriously. And at the end of the class, they realize I've been doing this wrong
Mm-hmm.
for fill in the blank with whatever that number of years is. And the answer to that duration doesn't matter. What resonates to them is I've been doing this wrong and I've left a liability in the projects that I have been proud of being part of. And now they lament over that. And the first thing I can tell them to hopefully make them feel a little bit better is me too. I've been involved in over $22 billion worth of new construction, and I learned something new on every single project.
Gotta love that about the trades. It's never not a learning process. And every time you have a smooth plan, there's always a hiccup. So no, that's great. Very encouraging as well too. I love that. How do people find you to get started?
I am all over LinkedIn. If you're following me already, you're probably sick of hearing about fire stop stuff, but it's not going to stop. You can also find me on our website, on Instagram, and we have a YouTube channel as well with a bunch of short little snippets of just different. Sometimes it's me venting about problems that I see in the field that I want you to stop doing. And sometimes it's honest, just, hey, here's an educational tidbit that I thought would be valuable. We also have a blog with tons of content on there. I've been blogging since I think 2015. So our goal is to get a lot of educational content out to anybody who wants to build better.
I love that. No, and you offer a lot. I do see a lot of your posts that go out on LinkedIn. Very knowledgeable. I'm definitely not tired of seeing them. Again, it's just something you're learning new as you go, something that I've never even been aware of, but is important. So no, I definitely, encourage you to keep going on that. It's pretty awesome. And to see the feedback that you get a lot of times is encouraging as well. So last question before we wrap up, what is something that you would like to tell entrepreneurs who want to join the construction industry?
I think this is a really important point to bring out is whatever you are doing, like let's say you're in the trades, you're an electrician or a plumber or fill in the blank with whatever it happens to be, and you do your job really well. It's easy to think, well, I can make money at this. And instead of making money for the company that I'm currently working for, I could do this and I could make all that money for me. But there is a risk reward element that goes into that. So understanding your financials is really important. Understanding marketing and sales. How are you going to get new clients? I'll be the first person to say that this is stuff that I wasn't super solid on when I started my business. So this isn't me saying I have all the answers. This is me saying I've screwed all this up. So
Right.
as soon as you can get coaching on whatever your weak points are, the stronger you'll be.
I love that. I love that. Sharon, thank you so much for joining today, and all of the information you've been willing to share and give to all of our guests. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and to like, subscribe, comment, and share the Builder Upper Show with anyone in the construction industry. If you are a woman in construction or a contractor and would like to appear as a guest on our podcast, send an email to megan@lumberfi.com. See you next time.
Bye.
If you're a construction contractor and would like to appear as a guest on our podcast, write us an email. It's lou@lumberfi.com.